Alright, so the terrain, as far as management goes, we have a terrain manager up here. It's fairly standard. We've done so many managers at this point, I'm not even really going to go over it. It's fairly bog standard. We have a key, we have a map, we get the key, look in the map, and then return it. Straightforward. Moving back down to the terrain, we do have a rectangle and an iterator. The iterator is used within the collision testing itself. So first we have the rectangle, which defines a rectangle of cells within the terrain that the user might collide against. So we have the min and max indexes for X and Z. We can get the beginning and the end of this rectangle, and we have a pointer to the original terrain. It's fairly straightforward. We'll get into the iterators in a little bit, but we have a equals and a copy operator as well, in case we need it for some reason. And then we have the constructor itself. We just get the x index and z index by going through the terrain using these functions that I've talked about before. Using these functions, position to cell index, and then we get the min and max indexes for the for where basically the collidable is. So that's the rectangle. It just defines a area, and then the iterator will go through. So as part of the iterator, we have the two ++ operators. We have an equals or not equals operator, and then we have the 2D reference operators as well. Those are fairly straightforward. We have a current x and current z index, and a pointer to the rectangle as well. And the iterators, not much to talk about. We just basically, whenever we have to increase, we just make sure that if we're at the max x, we just increase our z. Otherwise, we just increase our x. So yeah, there's not much to really talk about here. The iterator is fairly straightforward. And finally, I'm going to touch briefly on the terrain scene manager, which is every scene has a terrain manager, which basically just controls the terrain for that given scene. We assume that we only have one terrain, which is why we have a pointer. And then all this does is really just control whether or not the terrain is drawn. So that's all it really does. And that's the terrain.